Welcome back. I'm getting excited because we're finally going to be able to now put some things together into a full composition. This bamboo composition will give us a chance to try different strokes using different brushes and also use different values. I think sticking with blue, with that ultramarine blue, it'll let your brain and your eye kind of learn more easily and readily how much pigment you need to use to create different values. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to use newsprint to practice some of the strokes for our little bamboo painting. I'm going to get this one loaded up, back and forth, and a lot of pigment. Now I'm going to draw this brush upwards like the stem of a strong bamboo plant. If you take a look at the stalk of a bamboo, they're jointed. They grow in a sort of bisection almost, with joints. And so I'm going to try to simulate that with my flat 1-inch brush by pulling it vertically the same way the bamboo grows and just stopping. Just stopping. I'm going to maybe go a little bit side to side and then start again. I'm going to stop, go a little bit left, a little bit right, pick up my brush to leave a little bit of a gap. Again, side to side, stop, again. Practice that a few times so that you feel like you have control over the brush. You're going up just one section, pause. That little pause is going to leave some pigment right there, and when it dries, it's going to make it look like a little joint. Pause. Pause. Okay, I'm also going to practice using my round for thinner parts of the bamboo, younger sprouts that are not turned into those thick stalks yet. They're just fast-growing new stalks. If I pull it and stop, pull it and stop, pull it and stop, I've left some little joints along the way. Where I stop, the pigment gathers. Let's try doing it where we have a division, a junction. I'm going to have a part of it stalk go one way and part of that stem go the other way. You can't get enough of this practice. Draw that first straight stroke and then have a little spot where they break apart. You can use your rigger to practice this. I'm going to go back and load that rigger up, and again, just pull it up straight and maybe try making some little branches come off your main stem. Off, off. Okay. You can't do enough practice. Get some more newsprint. Give it another shot. I'm going to spend a little bit of time practicing some leaves here, and I'm going to use a round brush. I think this will simulate the shape of the leaf the best. And so I'm going to practice, again, just pressing down and then lifting up. Try this a few times. Press your round brush down and then pull it a little bit away from where you pushed it down. Press and then lift away. You can create a leaf that way. If you want to thicken that middle part, give it 2 strokes. There's no rules about this. I'm going to press down and have a leaf that droops. Press. Droop it down. Get some more pigment. Press. Pull it down. Press. Pull it down. Practice till you like it. Press. Pull it down. That looks better. I want to have it a little bit quicker. That creates more of a point. If I add some leaves to a stem, how about we take our rigger and draw a long stem, and I'm going to give it a junction, and maybe this one even divides again. My leaves now, I'm going to have them come off of this stem. I'm going to press and go off. Press, go off. Press, go off. Press down, drop it. I don't know if a leaf would grow right here, but I'm going to put one there. Okay, maybe another one right here. This is going to take some time. I don't want you to just feel like you're a failure if you don't think that it looks like a real leaf yet, because you're letting the brush do a lot of the work, and we tend to struggle with that. It's the shape of your brush that's going to create the shape of the leaf. If your round brush doesn't respond in the same way as mine, that gives you an excuse. Actually, blame the brush, you know? Let me try a couple other ones so you see that it's not, your leaves might look more like the leaves I create with this round brush. Let's see. This one seems to, the bristles are dividing at the end a little bit. But it's still pressing and pulling. Press it down and lift it, and kind of lift and draw it away from you at the same time. The reason it thins out is because you're taking it off the paper, basically. You're slowly pulling it away, so there's not very much brush that's touching the surface. Press, a lot of brush. All my bristles are totally pushing down into the paper. Then as I lift it up, I'm lightening that touch, and that's why it gets thinner. Press, pull away. That one's looks like a mouse with a tail. Press, flip it. So if you make some pollywogs, that's fine. Just keep going. Pretty soon you're going to perfect it a little bit, or at least so that you feel like you have some level of control over it before we go tackle our little bamboo painting. Okay, let's see if we can put some of the little bamboo elements together in one little composition, one little painting that will actually really work. It's going to be simple. We're going to try to draw on some of the Asian wisdom of the Asian artists who have practiced this sort of calligraphy painting for centuries. And it's really about simplicity, not trying to throw thousands and thousands of tons of paint on our paper, but be very simple and very clean. But I want some variety. Variety is what makes paintings interesting. And so I'm going to try to have some darks and some lights, some thick and some thin, some big and some small, so that we have an interesting painting that has a lot of different elements. I'm going to start with a 1-inch flat brush and put a fairly strong diagonal of bamboo into my painting, but I want it to be weakened down a little bit. I want it not to be the darkest part of my painting. So I'm going to actually suck out some of the water and a little bit of the pigment out of this flat brush. And I'm going to start my bamboo over at the bottom left corner and slant it towards the center of the top of my paper. Notice I've turned my paper vertically. It's about 6 inches across and about 9 inches tall. I'm going to start down here, and this is where we practiced that joint. We created sort of a joint, but I don't have a lot of pigment in this brush. It's light. I stop and let the pigment soak out at that joint a little bit, and up, stop, pause a little bit to the left and right, stroke, stop, a little bit left and right, and off the paper. That's my first one. It's light, but it creates kind of a structure to my painting now. It gives us a nice diagonal to play with. Okay, my next stroke is going to be another bamboo stalk, but this time I want it darker and maybe a little bit thinner. In terms of variety, if I have another one that's exactly the same width, that doesn't really fit with our concept of variety. So let's try using our round brush and see if we can create kind of a medium thick stalk. We'll call this a thick one. And now a little bit darker, a little bit more pigment. I'm going to go at an angle. I actually don't want to copy this same angle. That would be not enough difference. I'm going to create more interesting shapes if I have it slanted even more. So I'm going to start over here and go up to a joint, stop, go up to a joint, stop, go up to the off the paper. Let's look at how that came out. I'm going to even this out a little bit so it's about the same thickness. No rules about not touching this again with my little round brush here. And just let that one go off the paper. Okay, let's see if we can take our rigger now and add a third kind of stem, even thinner than this small one. So we've got thick, medium, and now thin. That's going to give us variety. When you can get all three of, heavy, medium, and light, or dark, medium, and light, or thick, medium, and thin. That's going to be great. Let's have a branch that goes up here now, and maybe goes across this other element, goes across this other stem. So I made part of it cut across. Then I can go up over here, and maybe this one even branches out, okay? I'm starting to create kind of a pattern of spaces and shapes here that's going to be more interesting. Now it's time for that practice that we did with our leaves. Let's throw a few leaves onto here. That'll give us a different element. I'm going to put a leaf right about here. I push down and drop it, and I'll have some up here that come out this way, and maybe I need a couple over here. This leaf might come up that direction, something like that. Let's just leave a few leaves on there. Fewer is actually better, and I've got 5. 5's a nice number. An odd number seems to work better. If I had 2 over here and 2 over here, it would be so much the same that it would not be as interesting. This is a little bit asymmetrical, a little bit skewed, and that makes it more interesting. I'm going to keep this round brush going down here with some grass-like shapes. Let's go up, up, up. Okay, that was my round brush. I start at the bottom and I just draw it up and let it get thinner and lighter as I go higher. Okay, I'm gonna mix up the thicknesses a little bit by now using my rigger. Same direction though. Now I've got some thin grass-like shapes going up. Okay, and now I'm really ready for the final touch. And that's why we practiced using this expensive brush right here, the toothbrush. Yay. I'm gonna go back to my pigment. I've practiced this on a piece of newsprint next to my painting because I've spent, how many thousands of hours making this nice. I don't want to wreck it with one little blob of junk coming off of my toothbrush. So I'm going to go hit my first tap over my palette and go to my little practice paper and hit that. That's not too bad. I want it actually a little bit bigger blobs, I think. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to get a little bit more water, a little more pigment, and I'm going to try a little bigger blob. That'll be nice. I'm going to put these blobs right about over here, so like they could be blossoms coming off of these grasses. We're not being too literal here. It's just part of my design, and these little round blobs are going to give a little sparkle to this. And that's all I wanted. So I'm just finished off that little composition with a little bit of sparkle. There are some things about this painting that I wasn't too crazy about. Best thing to do is just to start over, get yourself a new piece of paper.
Oregon poet William Stafford has been a lifelong favorite of mine. Here's a poem based on his early years growing up in a small town in Kansas. It's called A Gesture Toward an Unfound Renaissance. There was the slow girl in art class, less able to say where our lessons led. We learned so fast she could not follow us. But at the door each day, I looked back at her rich distress, knowing almost enough to find a better art inside the lesson. And then, late at night, when the whole town was alone, the current below the rumbly bridge at Main Street would go an extra swirl and gurgle once by the pilings. And at my desk at home, or when our house opened above my bed toward the stars, I would hear that one intended lonely sound, the signature of the day, the ratchet of time taking me a step toward here, now, and this look back through the door that always closes.
You did awesome. You have a composition now that really sings. It gives me a sense of depth. It's got some variety in it. It sparkles. Good job. We'll keep working on these ideas in our next lesson. Hi, I'm Bob. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you'll go by my website at watercolorwithbob.com. That's where you'll find an interactive outline of the whole course. You can also share your work with me and your fellow students. One thing I really love about watercolor is how accessible it is. That's why I realized it was important to me to put this course out for free. That said, it would mean the world to me if you would support this work. You can like it, you could share it with your friends, you could subscribe to the channel, you could also visit the gift shop or even make a donation. Thanks so much. See you on the next lesson, and happy painting. I think if I practice this just a few more times, I'm gonna really get it.